it tastes even better with a cough drop.
Because it's on your cheek flavor.
Yeah.
Because that's like lemon honey, and then this is cherry.
Oh yeah.
It's an interesting mixture. Hey everybody, welcome to JC and the Beardless. We're your hosts. I'm JC.
And I'm the Beardless.
Today we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton giving an absolutely horrible speech.
Understatement.
Elon Musk making a rude comment and apologizing. Fox saying really dumb things. Trump, you can't spell Trump without Russia. And then another segment that you'll find out.
So I know that this Hillary speech caused you a special amount of pain in your body, physical pain. So I'm going to let you run with this.
So here's the thing. I had to watch it. Did you watch it?
Like, whatever 30 seconds you made me watch it before, I couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I watched it for 22 minutes. And it was painful. Every minute of it. I mean, it started off with her receiving a Women's Rights Award from the American Federation of Teachers. That makes sense.
There was a lot of other women in that room, too.
Yeah, man.
Like, they could have picked someone else that actually achieved something and actually, like...
You know what she achieved? Not becoming the first woman president.
Running.
There are probably a lot of men in there that identified as women, too. Does that count? I'm just curious.
Is that who's teaching the young in America?
Yeah.
Probably.
Did you hear about the, this is totally off the top of my head.
Off topic!
Did you hear about, there's a library somewhere they have a drag queen story out.
Yes, I did hear about that, yeah. A while back.
That's disgusting.
That is disgusting.
I just heard about that yesterday.
Hello, kiddies. Do you want to come down to your library and do a sweet story? We all get to hang out together and learn about men who dress like women, act like women, or sassier than women.
Yeah, far.
Way more makeup than a normal woman. Way more risque clothes than a woman.
Risque-erest.
So, like, just the, yeah.
That was this. I just saw that yesterday, and I saw an actual news video of it, and it was terrifying.
Well, my thing is what are the parents doing while they're sitting there, just like,
no,
yeah,
they were actually
so.
See, that's the formative.
My child is going to be so progressive and understand about differences in people, and what are they thinking standing there watching that?
It actually annoyed me more than watching the drag queen absolutely embarrass himself. I'm gonna say himself because
that's what he is. Yeah. Well, a drag queen isn't a trans.
Yeah, it is. It's a trans.
I thought they just did that for fun. That was just their thing.
No, he identified as a woman.
Oh, okay. Well, it can probably be both ways, right?
I guess so. Probably.
You can do it for fun, like J. Edgar Hoover did, and then, or actually identify as one.
I guess so.
Okay.
But the thing that actually made me most concerned when I saw that was that the parents were the drag queen was singing some song, of course, glorifying being the drag queen. And the parents were singing along. And then he said, who wants to be a drag queen when you grow up? And these kids don't know what that means. And of course, 80% of them raise their hands, and the parents are like, oh yeah, woo, that's right, our kid wants to be a drag queen.
How many little girls rose their hand?
Well, that's just a tomboy in that case, but it's the same thing.
I know, but there's no drag queens, right? That's not a thing, is it?
Cross-dresser.
I know, but drag queens, you always think of them actually having shows at some really dumb bar that can't get any business, and they have shows for all these crazy lefty people to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, they say, do you want to grow up and make a very minuscule amount of money to do something very creepy on stage in a dirty bar?
Yeah, and to answer your question...
And the parents are like, yes, yes, score! My kid does!
My kid has ambition! To answer your question, yes, there were little girls that raised their hands. Because like I said, they don't know what that means.
Right, they don't understand that.
And the parents, of course, just cheered on and encouraged it. That made me sad.
Yeah, they don't know what it means, but they could definitely decide if they were a boy or a girl that day and get hormone treatment.
Like that one boy that's starting he's starting an online children's only children's only transgender dating site.
Children's only?
13 and under.
13 and under?
Transgender dating site. Yeah.
Wait.
We just need to let that sink in for a
I
minute.
mean, has he announced this? I mean, did the FBI just be like, score, promotion coming for me? Like, how easy can it get? I can't have some 13 and under. So
Yeah,
some 13.
I don't think it encourages meeting up and doing things.
Well, a 13-year-old can do some things under.
I'm aware.
I mean, there's a lot of ages underneath that shouldn't be. That's pedophilia, dude.
I don't know if it's technically pedophilia if a 13-year-old likes another kid, because a 13-year-old's not an
A
adult.
little bitty kid, though.
I mean, gross, but let's not talk
I
about
just think
that.
the
Let's
whole
not
thing is
sidetrack into
disturbing.
this. I'm
It's just
disturbed.
Yeah, the whole
It's all
thing is
disturbing.
Yeah.
There's no lines anymore is the thing. Like, you're asking these questions, there's no answers, because the lines are so blurred at this point that you can't really make any distinctions. It's not, they're going to let whatever happens, happens, and it's a movement. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
To move on, back to Hillary.
Oh, yeah.
What else did she
Other
say?
disturbing news.
She claimed that Trump only gave tax cuts to the wealthiest among us. Personally, I am not the wealthiest among us, and I got a tax cut, so pretty sure it just applied to most people.
Right, yeah.
It was just a general tax cut.
It was one of those tax cuts.
Actually, the richest didn't even get a tax cut. Well, they did, but barely. I think it was like 3% for somewhere between 20 and 100,000, and then 100 to like 200,000. It was a 1%. Right. And then I don't know what happened over that, but
like what I was saying, I saw a tax cut. It was more of a across the board tax cut, and so the wealthy did get some too because everybody got some, you know. So
they got less than us though.
Right.
That's ridiculous. So she just lied about that one. We're not going to linger on that, but she
that was just a blatant lie.
Yeah.
And think about it, if like a lot of rich people kind of live in these leftist states like California, you know. They actually, it wasn't that much of a tax cut for them because didn't it kind of offset by saying that they couldn't claim state income tax as something that's drawing away from their income? So, because normally you could say, all right, this is the money that can be taxed. And how it was set up before is the money that was state income tax, the federal government couldn't claim on that money because it was the state that claimed on it. But this new one, the way that Congress and Trump changed it this last time was now they can claim that money even if the state's claiming on it as well. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in some places, like California, that has a high state taxes, they actually didn't get really a tax cut because of that would offset it, like in the opposite direction. I'm pretty sure.
So essentially, she lied.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I'm not gonna go over everything she said because it was all bad, but some of it just kind of stuck out. One thing she said, because they can't get enough of this one. He ripped children away from their parents. Let's talk about that.
Were they talking about Obama?
You know,
was she talking about
I thought so at first, but then she wasn't.
Right.
This was just really annoying that they keep talking about this. I really just can't stand that they keep talking about this.
Well, yeah, it's because it was a dirty little secret for I don't know how long, and the media just kept it nice and quiet.
At least 8 years.
The left kept it nice and quiet until it was Trump's inheritance time. Oh, Trump's inherited everything that was horrible. Trump inherited it, so now it's actually horrible as it wasn't beforehand.
Yeah, and Trump's the one that signed an executive order to kind of stop it. And then the right side of the aisle in Congress tried to pass a bill to stop it, and the left blocked it. So I don't know why they care that much.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure.
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure that bill had something about funding the wall or something. So basically, what the left said is, or the Democrats said is, it's more important to not build a wall than to put families back together again. So just let that sink in a little bit. Shows you what their priorities are.
Want something to hold on to.
Yeah.
In case Russia falls through.
In case they don't get Trump at the end.
In case Russia keeps falling through.
Do we want to place bets right now on if this investigation is still going when Trump is up for re-election?
I think that this investigation is still going to be going when Trump finishes his 8 years.
He's going to be leaving office and they're still going to be under him.
I think he's going to get reelected in 2020. And I think that after 4 years after that, he's still going to be Russia. I mean, they're still going to be trying to pull that money out of that hat.
You know what? I bet 9 months after he's done with his second term, it's still going to be in the news that he's being investigated.
Especially if we get another conservative president after that.
Yeah, definitely. Because it'll be like
somehow they're going to be the ones that were colluding.
Right. They'll be like, look, everything Trump did spoiled this new conservative president because he's set up for this to be a conspiracy.
They'll find some connection between Trump and this guy and say that this guy was actually the reason that Russia colluded. He was the one. They're going to try and convince us of that.
All right, so everybody in the comments, let us know what you think.
Place bets.
I can't see an end in sight. I can't see an end in sight anywhere.
I can't.
I don't see a ramping down. You're not ramping up, like a cooling down. I don't see it at all.
Well, you'd think the end would be whenever they prove that the DNC funded the dossier. That's a pretty good ending spot.
Right.
But no, it's still going. So I don't see an end either.
Yeah, every time something comes up to say, oh man, it all looks kind of suspicious now. Maybe we need to stop this. No, they just ignore it. So I don't see an end in sight.
All right, so I just want to talk about one more point about the speech. It's probably the most important one, in my opinion. Is she was talking about Kavanaugh and how he is basically going to be the demise of all rights that aren't white men's rights. So minorities, women's rights, workers' rights, everything. It's all gonna go away.
What time period did she say it was gonna
She said, well, she originally thought okay, here's the quote. Quote, I've been worried that Trump's gonna turn the clock back to 1950, but he's trying to turn it back to 1850, end quote.
1850.
1850.
So we have to have another Civil War, right?
You know what happened in 1850? We had slaves.
Right. It's probably like the Missouri Compromise or the 3/5 Compromise or something.
Yeah.
So we're going to have another Civil War. Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's unbelievable. Apparently, we should have did our podcast sooner, or the last episode, because she would have watched it and actually learned a little bit about Kavanaugh and like some of his decisions he's made and the reasonings behind his decisions. And she'd say, "Oh wait, he hasn't, he said nothing about putting them back in chains or." Women can't vote anymore.
Interesting how he kind of just tries to follow the Constitution and make sure checks and balances is stable.
Right. I mean, it's interesting that the only person I've heard in a long time to say anything about women in the 1950s is Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
When she was saying, well, Republican women or just vote with their bosses won or their husbands won. It's like, that is probably the most insulting thing I've heard, and that came from her mouth.
Yeah. That's Hillary for you.
It's just unbelievable how the left just gets up and lies. Misinforms, lies, messes the truth up just enough to where you're not sure what's true or not. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Twisted truths and whole lies, it's all good.
Yep.
I would suggest that you go and watch the speech for yourself. If you can stomach it, I do. But it's not easy, so
I'll ask about
don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. But if you can, it's really informative as to how they think on the left.
Right.
And especially, I mean, she is an exception even to the left, I think. She's just a liar. Like straight lies.
Even though I only watched 20 seconds, my thing was like how excited all the people were there at the conference. And they all were like recording her on their phones. It looked really strange. Like why were they recording her? I mean, I guess some people cheered sometimes, but like this is the person who keeps stepping, like putting her foot in her mouth, lost the presidency because of her pretty much hubris. I mean, it's just I don't know if the people were recording her because it was like an endangered species thing. Like this right here is the Hillary Clinton, an endangered political species in the and like was it that or were they actually excited to see her?
I think the only other known member of her species that's still alive is Maxine Waters.
So endangered but not extinct.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Endangered but not
close
extinct.
to it. Though.
Close.
2 left.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, it's so interesting to watch a Democrat speak at a teachers union thing or any union kind of conference because it's just a big. Everybody's just sitting there rubbing their back. It's like, hey, Hillary, our money to our unions got you elected, and then you try to push for things to get us money, and then we give you the money, and then you give us money. It's like this giant circle of corruption.
Yeah, and if you're on the outside, you just realize it, and if you're on the inside, it's...
If you're on the
you
inside,
don't, I guess. I guess you just don't know.
Selfishness on the inside.
You just not know.
I think some of them just not know.
Just not know.
Some just not know. They just not know.
Some just not know.
But yeah, it's kind of pathetic that happens. Especially since teachers are a public employee. So this is like government money going into getting Democrats elected so they can do more things to keep them elected and keep the money rolling back in.
Well, yeah, they try to get that cycle going.
Well, it's a shame.
They're losing it, though.
It's corruption. I don't see why people don't notice it. Well, if you didn't know,
a lot of people are noticing it. That's the thing.
Well,
they're the wild ones. You see them.
Right. Well, the Supreme Court noticed it with that last ruling they had where they made it to where people in public employment positions didn't have to join unions because some places would force them to join a union. And they said, no, that's against your rights. You don't have to join a union. You don't have to give these people your money, especially when your money, you know exactly where your money's going, to the DNC. Yeah. You know everything you're putting into that labor union's funding commercials, ads, campaigns, stickers, speeches, like this Hillary one for the DNC. So, man, that was such a win for the American people with that court case.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, so let's move on because I just can't stand thinking about that anymore.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about Elon Musk.
Well, you know I love and adore Elon Musk because...
Got his book.
Yeah, I know his book's right over there. I'm glad you keep it close to us. But just because we need something to push us in further into the 21st century, to have big thinkers, to have people still pushing the envelope, still making a change, doing things innovatively, doing things different, bringing us into the future we see in movies and TV shows. You know, it's exciting. What he does is exciting.
He's also, one thing I really like about him is that he really is an independent thinker. Like he doesn't ascribe to any political party really. Right. Because he basically makes his decisions one at a time, and sometimes that's not such a great thing, and sometimes it's a great thing. And I think it's cool that he actually has an open mind and thinks for himself. Right. Even when I disagree with him, I just think it's cool that he made his decisions by himself and he didn't do what someone else told him to do.
I wonder if he was always that way, or when you become a billionaire, you can be that way.
Well, if you read his book, the way he built himself up, he basically had to be that way. So
he had to be that way to create.
He was very different than anyone else. I mean, he wasn't a normal kid. Not in a bad way. He just he wasn't normal. Very free thinking, very different.
Okay, so let's talk a few things about Elon Musk. So Elon Musk was in the news and everywhere in the news for a while because he was getting into spats with Twitter media and other media faces on Twitter because they were pretty much slandering him, picking on him, making everything he did seem negative. And he's like, look, you guys aren't trustworthy. And he was right. People sided with him. He said they're not trustworthy. But my favorite thing is they were like, Elon, you're not trustworthy. Look over here. And it was like another media person had said a quote about Elon. So this other media person just pulled that quote. They're like, look, that backs up my statement because I quoted another dude over here that said you weren't. It's like, that's the problem with the media. They're all in this little bubble and they all quote each other and they think that that's reliable sources. Yeah. Bob and Jerry are both, one works for Vox, one works for Vice.
Look, if
they quote each other as sources.
That's not a reliable source.
Right. And so he was pointing this out. You know, he did that poll on his Twitter, like, how many of y'all think that the media is great? And then how many of y'all think that the media is not and that we need some kind of new kind of company that looks at media and lets people rate how reliable they are. And it was like an 80-20 poll. Now, you're going to have a lot of Elon fans voting on that, but I don't think it was too far off from what people feel.
I like it.
I like it too.
I'd like to know who's reliable.
Right. So that was his big spot in the news, and so it kind of cooled down because he never backed down. I think that's why it cooled down, because the media weren't winning.
Yeah.
So they basically had to back off.
Yeah.
And so he tried to help with the football, right? What did football team? Football team boys, and they were trapped in a cave.
Yeah.
Everybody heard about this. They needed to be rescued because the rainwaters came up and they couldn't get out. Well, he was trying to do his little single submarine thing, and he had little videos where he showed how it would work in a tight environment and everything. And then so he started getting attacked on Twitter again. And they're like, Elon's just doing this because he wants everybody to look at him. And it's like, everything happens on Twitter nowadays. The only reason you post about what Trump had for breakfast this morning was racist is because you want everybody to look at you. So why do you even care what Elon posts? Because you're doing the same thing, people on Twitter. Y'all are doing the same thing. That's what social media is all about.
And honestly, I don't think that what he was doing was a publicity stunt. But even if it was, he was still doing something to help.
Right.
So why does it matter?
Right. Even if it was even if it was a publicity stunt, that someone was showing this new machine that could fly across the globe and kill Hitler and end World War II.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Who cares if it was a publicity
Doesn't matter.
stunt? It does
if it
not
works,
matter.
it works.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let it happen.
So he was already getting heated about this, and so some diver that was part of the team somewhere at some point with whoever was working with this rescue, because there was a lot of agencies and a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
So he didn't know who this guy was, and the guy was like, pretty much joined in on the Twitter thing and said, Elon, your machine wouldn't work anyway. You were just trying to do it for publicity and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, evil billionaires. Because for some reason, if you work that hard and you're that smart to make $1 billion, you are an evil person.
Yes.
You got that $1 billion on the backs of slavery, okay? Yes. Somehow.
Evil.
Even though it's illegal,
somehow
you did it.
White privilege is involved, even though he's from South Africa.
Yeah. And so basically, Elon was like, ticked off, okay, and it's social media. I mean, I don't use it very much anymore because I've been ticked off on social media and said things I shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
And he basically called the guy a pedo.
He
said,
did.
This pedo diver, I don't know who he is. I didn't see him in any of the meetings we had about rescuing these kids. And so everybody was like, oh, Elon's calling people pedophiles. Where's the proof? Elon knows some deep, dark secret. He's just making it up. And it's like, that's my problem with it. The media made it seem like Elon was trying to spread fake news, like they do, okay? But he wasn't. He was just ticked off, and he called the guy a pedo.
It's like me. It's like whenever you get mad at someone, you're stupid. You're a moron.
Right. Fake news. How do you know he's a moron?
How do you know his IQ is below 83?
IQ test. Yeah, it's like they try to make the Elon Musk pedo comment like it was fake news.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to slander somebody. He wasn't trying to slander. This is his personal Twitter account. And the guy ticked him off, so he called him a pedo. That's
I do want to say that I'm not a fan of him using the word pedo. I think there's an epidemic of watering down terms that are very important, and pedophile is one of them, especially with the movement to make it an actual sexual orientation and all that kind of stuff. But I agree with what you're saying. It's gonna happen a lot.
I just said I timed it, but okay.
I'm Hillary Clinton. I forgot where I was now. But I get what you're saying. What he was saying was not. He wasn't saying that he's actually a pedophile. He's using it as an insult. Right, yeah. He was ticked off. Like I said, I don't think this is the problem with social media. People want to use it as their actual job. Twitter is their actual job, is posting what Trump had for breakfast is racist, and that's their job. But then when someone gets on there and they get ticked and start calling each other names, it's somehow, oh, this is fake news. No, it's social media. You tick someone off, they're going to call you names. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Elon Musk doesn't treat his Twitter like it's the official Elon Musk news source. No, it's his personal Twitter account. So my thing is, it's social media. That's what's going to happen. People are going to say dumb things on social media. And what this should help you realize is that when you're seeing all this stuff on social media, sometimes it's just a bunch of ticked off leftists saying junk. Okay? However, it's not true. It's not real. They're mad. However, if they claim to be a reputable news source and then they randomly call someone a pedo or something like that, that needs to be taken a little more, a little less lightly. Right. If CNN's blue check mark whatever said that diver was a pedo,
then
Yeah.
of course we'd have to look at it different. But this is a guy's personal Twitter
Yeah,
account.
this is Elon Musk's Twitter account.
Yeah.
Are we moving on?
He's
from
still
Elon
a
Musk?
person. He's not a company. He's a human being. So.
Are we moving on?
Oh, hold on. One more thing.
One more thing.
I'm not sure. We need to Grant, try to verify this for him. I heard some leftist outrage the other day because like Elon Musk donated some money to some Republican campaign or something.
Wow.
And I think that would just be the icing on the cake.
That
It's
reminds me of the woman that got attacked for thanking Donald Trump Jr. for donating like $26 million or something like that to cancer research.
Right. It's like,
and
no,
then
let
help
the
save her
cancer
daughter's
people
life.
die. Don't take that blood money.
I mean, yeah, they're just gonna get mad at people.
It's ridiculous.
like
That's
get
how
mad.
insane the left are. If you're still in it and you have at least a little bit of brain left and common decency and sense, get out while you can. Because apparently, if Donald Trump Jr. had the cure to cancer,
You wouldn't be allowed
he
to
would
take
not
it.
be allowed. Yeah, you would not be allowed to take it because it's Donald Trump Jr.
Donald Trump Jr.
Even if it would save your life or the life of your child, it was Donald Trump Jr. So no, you can't.
That made me sick.
That's how insane the left is. Just let that sink in.
Do we have any news on that donation?
He's donated sometimes to a party who dismisses climate science.
Okay, he's donated several times to a party that dismisses climate science. It's not even a Republican party, probably.
But was it Republican though? See if you can see if it was Republican.
He's donated 7 times to Republicans.
Oh, so yeah.
Okay,
so
he's
they're
donated
saying
7 times to Republicans.
Republicans who have said that they deny human
Yeah.
involvement in climate change. But I just think that's beautiful because it's like, hey, there's this billionaire out there who's like a sociable billionaire that you've heard of,
Yeah.
involved in pretty much what the world is going to come to. Elon Musk's company and his inventions and his genius and the people that work for him are going to change the course of history.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about it
Yeah.
after what he's done with rocket technology.
He's going to get us to Mars, man.
And I just love this guy who's pretty much the poster child for the 21st century technological world, donated to a Republican. I
That is
bet
great.
that makes the left go crazy because they got pretty much every other social billionaire with the left and with the Democrats.
Do you want me to read his apology tweets? He tweeted 2 apology tweets.
No. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can. I don't have
Go
to.
ahead.
I don't have to.
Go ahead. Let me hear
You
what
want
he
me
had to
to?
say. Let me hear how bad
Do you
they are.
really want to hear it?
Sure, I'll hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hear it.
All right, so he split it up into 2 tweets. He said, as this well-written article suggests, my words, I don't know what article he's talking about, but he's referring to an article. As this well-written article suggests, my words were spoken in anger against Mr. Unsworth, who's the man he called a
diver.
pedo. After Mr. Unsworth said several untruths and suggested I engaged in a sexual act with a mini-sub. I forgot about that part.
See, oh gosh, see, why did anyone take his pedo comment seriously when this is what was going on? This
Which
is
had been
great.
built as an act of kindness and according to specifications specifications from the dive team leader. His second tweet. Nonetheless, his actions against me do not justify my actions against him, and for that I apologize to Mr. Unsworth and to the companies I represent as a leader. The fault is mine and mine alone.
See, and that's actually a fantastic apology because he didn't have to point out that the guy was saying rude stuff too, but it showed you that this wasn't some fake news.
He didn't
thing.
just randomly say it. To
Yeah,
some
it was
dudes or
2
about some
people
dude.
mad at each other on social media. So you get mad and, and you hit send. And you're like, man, I shouldn't have sent that, but I hate that guy. So I mean, so it was a good apology. I don't always believe. I hate how the Republicans apologize for things all the time.
That's terrible.
But at least this was just a social interaction. It wasn't anything about policy. So
Speaking
kudos.
of apologies, what really annoys me, I'm going to put this away since we're
Okay.
done with Elon Musk.
All right.
What annoys the mess out of me is when a left-leaning comedian or something apologizes for something. A comedian apologizes for what they said in a joke.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me so mad. I just think that's ridiculous. Sorry, that was a side point again.
No,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's a joke.
I agree too. It's comedy.
It's their job to make
comedy,
jokes.
You have to go to some places that aren't couth to make it funny. So
Yeah.
that's why it's funny.
And like when Jimmy Fallon apologized for humanizing Donald Trump because he didn't say bad things.
so Donald Trump's not a human? Hold on, though. Is he not a human?
Apparently not to the left. He didn't say bad. He didn't say good things about Trump. He didn't
He just didn't say bad
he just
things.
didn't say bad things. I don't know why I couldn't think of how to phrase that.
He was neutral.
Yeah.
So since he didn't attack Trump, that was bad because he was just neutral about it.
He had apologized for that because he humanized Donald Trump. And that's, gosh, the state of the left right now.
I know. It's that echo chamber, especially in California, Hollywood area. It's just an echo chamber where you're either one way or you're the enemy. Basically, that's it. There's no other way.
No other way. All right.
All right. Talking about fake news earlier, we're going to look at some real fake news.
Yeah. I'm going to read these.
Who is this brought to you by?
Our good old friends at Vox.
Vox, the most unreliable news source on the interwebs.
The interwebs.
So what did they show us? You've already showed it to me. My jaw kind of dropped a little bit because I was like, can you lie any harder? I mean, is it, and be sneaky about it too?
Well,
can you lie so hard and be so sneaky?
They're liars. Like I'm not debating that for sure. But their favorite tactic is not to just straight up lie like some people. They love to twist the truth, just so sneakily, just very barely, so you just don't even know that you're being lied to, and it irks me.
Right.
Because it's so bad.
If you read the fine print, you'll learn that you're being lied to. But other than that, no.
Yeah.
All right, so tell them what the article's about.
Trying to find these in order. So the article is about, this was a little while ago, but it's about the stock market and the economy under Trump about a year into his administration. And it's titled, "The stock market is booming. That doesn't mean the economy is. Here's why."
Right. So they're saying the stock market is booming.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean the economy's doing well. Like, you're not going to feel the effect of the stock market growth.
Yeah. So we're going to put these in a link on the video so you can see these actual photos somehow. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that, but we're going to
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But they just used a bunch of charts that were this one wasn't even, I didn't even realize how old this one was. So what they did was they took charts, they took stats and produced charts discussing how the GDP growth rate hasn't changed, the average family net worth hasn't changed or it's gone down.
Right.
Average hourly wages hasn't gone up significantly. All these different things.
Right. So
what they don't tell you.
If you looked at this as a reader, you'd be like, man, all the rich people at the stock market, man, they're making all this money off of Trump. See, yeah, Trump lied. All this tax break stuff is helping all the wealthy rich people. This ain't helping me. Is what you would get from reading what they have set up. You would look
at this and you'd say, Trump was a liar. He didn't actually help the economy at all.
He's just helping the rich.
If you look at the charts a little closely, though, take 2 seconds and look at the dates. The GDP one that says that the GDP was at under 1%, I believe, is what it's at on here, or just at 1%, ended in 2015. I don't know if you know this.
Wait, Trump went back in time and was president in 2015?
Trump is a time traveler.
I missed this.
He went back in time.
So it was an alternate timeline that they pulled this from.
Yes.
Oh,
this is from the whenever.
So is that Terminator time travel or is that Back to the Future time travel?
No, this is Marvel time travel.
Marvel time travel.
It's complicated stuff. I also want to point out that currently the GDP is at, I believe, 4% when it was at 1% when Trump took office.
Right.
So just want to point that out. Vox. This one, I like this one a lot. The U.S. averagely... I can't talk. I'm a podcaster. I can't talk. The U.S. average family net worth. It's a lot of weird words together, okay?
Yeah, family.
But they circled. They even... You'll see this in the picture. They circled. You see that? They circled where it dropped.
They circled the drop, yeah.
You want to know what years it's dropped?
Okay.
2010. Okay. 2013. 2016.
Wow, who was
president
during that time?
I don't remember, man. It was Trump, right? No?
Well, that's what the article's making me think that it is Trump.
It's circled. So that means this is Trump's time, right?
Right, yeah, they're saying, hey, because they're talking about the stock market right now. They're saying the stock market jump that happened under Trump is not the stock market jump that happened under Trump. Okay, is actually not paying off. So
yeah, it has to be Trump, right?
This lie.
2016. That was Obama, guys.
And all of those other dates for the drop that they circled were under. Oh my gosh, man, it hurts.
Yeah.
Hurts.
The
what hurts is you don't know how many people looked at this
and fell for it.
And fell for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The U.S. average hourly wages, 2016 as well. I think all of them except for that one in 2016.
So all of them were 2016 except for one was 2015.
Yeah.
So has no connection to the Trump administration. Congress's tax law passed. I mean, no connection whatsoever.
Nope.
None. Zero. Zilch.
Zero.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. They took all the stats
the
and applied them
title
now.
of the article was how the stock exchange growth is not really doing anything.
Yeah.
So that's basically a lie.
Yeah.
Because the giant leaps in the stock exchange happened after President Trump was elected.
Yes.
And so you can't say something that happened after those charts is not having an effect on anything. So Thanks, Vox, for pretty much solidifying that fake news. People who say fake news is too far, it's like a comment that's too far to say.
It doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, it's
real.
like, no, you're just not, you don't agree with what they say. No, you just saw it right here.
Straight lie.
Straight up fake news, lie.
Lie. Like that one article we talked about earlier before we started recording from CNN that said, what did it say? Trump signing. Did we talk about that on the podcast?
Yeah. No, we didn't talk about it on the podcast.
Okay, it said Trump signing executive order to end his policy of separating children from families. And the person that had posted this article that I saw had circled where it said his policy of separating children. Because it's not his policy. That's fake news.
Right, I know. And I just love how it's hilarious that he has to go, oh man, my policy is hurting me. Let me try to fix my own policy. It's like.
And then he got blocked. Not even allowed to fix your own policy. It's not your policy that we hate, that we only hate because you're the president.
Right. Yep.
Again, they need that to hold on to.
So since we're talking about Trump again, like we have been, we talked on the last podcast about.
Remember, you can't spell Trump without Russia.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Trump's Helsinki conference meetup, whatever you want to.
It didn't go
sit
well.
Down. So he tried to come back out and say, hey, it wasn't as bad as I said. I believe our intelligence community a little bit. Like it was like he always had to like quantify it. It was like, yeah, I believe them, but Putin, Putin. And then the best part though, which is hilarious. So I can make fun of Trump. I love him, but I can make fun of him. Okay?
we said, didn't we mention this
mentioned
in the last
it last
podcast?
time.
We're not pro-Trump. We're not anti-Trump. We're right there in the middle. We make our decisions based on his.
Right. Like I said, we're not always Trumpers. Yeah. We're not never Trumpers.
Yeah.
If Trump does something good, awesome. If he does
we're
something
Americans,
hilarious,
and he's our president.
Right. If he does something funny, I'm going to make fun of it because it was great.
Yeah.
So my favorite part of the whole thing was, he was like, oh yeah, and there was this one part where people were like, you said, why wouldn't it be Russia? Or no, why would it be Russia? Why would it be Russia? Because they were like messing with our elections. Why would it be Russia? It's like, oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
On the transcript or teleprompter or whatever, that was a mistake. I should have said, and I might have, but everyone didn't hear it right.
Yeah, because
I should have said, why wouldn't it be Russia? Even though nothing else in the whole speech pointed to Russia doing anything wrong. He was like, but I said, why wouldn't it be Russia? Of course, it could only be Russia. So I thought that part was absolutely hilarious. That he's like, y'all just missed the N apostrophe
That just
T.
reminds me of whenever a child has just a really bad lie that they have to tell to get themselves out of trouble. That reminds me of one time. I'm going to tell a personal story. One time in elementary school, I got in trouble for hitting somebody with you remember those pixie sticks that were like this big in the plastic tubes? It's just straight sugar in a tube.
Yes.
Well, this one kid was bugging me, and I smacked him with it. And they had a big old line on their arm because I smacked him good.
You smacked him good.
And they told a teacher, of course, because, they should have. That was probably the right thing to do.
I was like, I was messing with him. I deserved it.
Yeah, I was holding the pixie stick. I was the only one holding a pixie stick. And I was like, it wasn't me. No, I didn't do that. I was lying.
Right.
I was trumping.
Yeah, but he's talked about it since then. Like, and then after he kind of walked back, he was on either CBS or ABC.
Maybe I shouldn't have quantified Trump with lying there. That wasn't a good. I take that back. That's not what I meant. Don't take me out of context.
But he was like I said, it was ABC or CBS, and he's like, so is Putin responsible for this? And Trump was like, well, he's a leader. He's the leader of his country. Like, I'm the leader of my country. And so if things happen and you're overseeing it all, I'm paraphrasing, then yeah, you have to take responsibility. So I love his little workaround to say, yeah, Putin's responsible, but it's just because he's not watching everybody like he needs to.
Kind of a decent response too, though. I mean, he is responsible for what happens.
That could be a possibility, but it's Putin. So
that's valid. If there was something going on, Putin had something.
Yeah. Chaos of
I don't
American
know, though,
elections.
Man. I don't know, though, man.
There's no way Putin didn't have his hand in it.
I don't know, man. I don't know anyone that died.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right
if
about
Putin's
that.
involved.
Maybe Putin's the one killing all of Hillary's enemies to make it look like Hillary's the killer.
Yeah.
Hillary's like, why do all these people I hate keep dying? And Putin's like, they'll get her eventually.
And the $400 million she took, she didn't actually take it. They just kind of forced it into her bank account.
Where did this money come from?
Where did this $400 million come from?
Well, I needed a new private jet. Thanks.
I'll just keep it. It's like when you find a $20 bill on the ground and you keep it.
Yeah, you look around first.
Did someone drop this?
No, I don't see anybody here that looked like they dropped a $20 bill.
Because there's a look that people have.
There's a look.
That guy had a 20 in his pocket. And now he doesn't. He looks 20 bucks lighter.
Yep.
All right.
So let's end it up with our special segment.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
We gotta wait for it. Extremely late movie reviews.
All right.
Use the S, man.
That's a Z. I'll put a Z on it next time.
Okay. Reviews.
All right. So last week we did Harry Potter. Okay. And this week we're going to do, because we talked about it a little bit, we're going to talk about Star Wars a little bit. We're just going to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep into it because one day we're going to
try to limit it to one episode.
Yeah.
Today.
One day we're going to have a deeper Star Wars talk on a pod. We'll have a special Star Wars episode because I really have some things I want to talk about it. And not necessarily let's just hate on Return or The Last Jedi. I'm not talking about that, even though we can do some of that too if you want to.
We'll end it with that probably.
Well, how about...
It'll be in there, don't worry.
You know what we could do today? We could just review our favorite one. Just review
like our personal favorites?
Yeah, our personal favorite, yeah. What's yours?
I gotta be honest. I think A New Hope is probably my favorite episode.
Okay.
Just a classic, man.
Just a classic? All right, why is that your favorite?
Arc. I mean, I like Solo's character arc. Mm-hmm. It's the first one I ever watched, first of all. So that, I think, is part of it is kind of sentimental.
Right.
Because I was introduced to Star Wars with A New Hope.
Right.
Which is the way to do it, by the way. That's my dad did that. He introduced me with episode 4.
Okay.
Because when I started watching them, they were already, I believe 1 and 2 were already out.
Right.
When I started watching Star Wars. And so my dad introduced me with A New Hope right off the bat. And that's how you do it, people.
Well, see, I think I was like 6 years old when I saw my first Star Wars, and it was Return of the Jedi.
Really?
It was the very first one I ever saw. But I was so young that I only remembered the Ewok part on the moon of Endor. That's all I can have. That's all I remember from that memory of watching it. So later, when I watched them from beginning, I still could enjoy it as this is my first time watching it through kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, if you were suggesting to someone the best way to watch Star Wars, the best order, what's your suggestion?
Okay,
are you an originalist?
Here,
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to say
and we're excluding the newer movies. Anything after 6 doesn't count.
Oh, you're talking about the original. The
original 6, yes.
Okay. So how I do it isn't how I would recommend it. How I do it is I watch them in chronological order, not from release dates, but from the story. Mm-hmm. So I start with 1, and then I watch them all in chronological order. That's how I do it. But if I was to recommend someone to watch it, I would say watch the originals first, and then watch the prequels because the prequels are more magical. after you've watched the originals, and then you get to say, oh, how did this turn into that?
Yeah.
How did this affect that? How did this change this?
My suggestion would be watch 4, 5, 6. Watch it in that order, the order of release first, and then go back pretty soon after that and watch them in chronological order.
Right.
Just to experience it both ways, but you need to do it
The first time
release
you do it,
order first.
Yeah. First time you do it, it's 4, 5, and 6 first, then 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you what my favorite one is. You probably know I'm kind of a common when it comes to my favorite, but after that, my list gets crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm an Empire Strikes Back guy.
Of course.
That's my favorite. And that's the thing is you say that's your favorite. You say you like A New Hope because of the solo story arc.
Yeah.
I like Empire Strikes Back because of the solo story
Really?
arc. Yes. It's still because of solo, but it's completely different reason why.
Yeah, it's a different
Because
situation.
even though he came back and saved the day, to me, he's still got that attitude in Empire Strikes Back. And I just, I love how Empire Strikes Back starts off on Hoth. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of the movies. I love pretty much any scene where the Millennium Falcon's trying to escape the Empire. I just absolutely love. I love the introduction of Yoda in Empires because I know he's in Return, but I love how they introduce him in Empires. Empires to me, it's like the funnest one to watch. That's how I kind of go about my ratings is how fun it is to watch and like how rewatchable it is. And I just love Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, so speaking of Yoda, puppet Yoda or CG Yoda?
Okay, so we'll get deeper into this later when we do our special Star Wars episode, but CG Yoda is my Yoda.
CG Yoda. Whenever episode 3 came out and I watched it the first time and I saw Yoda doing backflips, I fell in love with Yoda. Yoda's puppets kind of creeped me out a little bit as a kid, honestly.
Well, here's his episode 1 puppet is creepy.
It is creepy.
Oh man, they did a really weird job with that episode 1 puppet. So I think that's why they had to go away
CG
from
Yoda,
it.
man, he kicks. But I understand why he's Yoda after watching that.
Right.
Before that, he's the wise. He's wise and he's old.
Right.
But then whenever they use CG and they actually can move him around and make him do cool things.
do cool, like how awesome he is at lightsaber
He's
dueling.
actually a beast.
Yeah.
And now you understand. This is why Yoda is Yoda.
And see, the prequels came out when I was a teenager. So pretty much my teenage years was the prequels. And so I grew up with the originals, but like that just became my Yoda. That was the movies that I was excited to see. That was the Yoda that was on all the merchandise then in the video games.
Yeah.
He's basically that same look as the Yoda in the Clone Wars cartoon. So yes, I do watch those. Just if you hate me, hate me. But I love him in that because he still feels like he's that Yoda in the Clone Wars series. And so he's my Yoda.
Because he's animated, so they can make him do whatever they want.
And that's the thing is I know he still doesn't really look like his puppet Yoda from the originals.
Yeah.
But in my mind, when I think of Yoda, I immediately see CG Yoda.
Same.
He's just my Yoda, man.
He's the better Yoda for sure. That's a definitive statement at this point.
JC and the Beardless stamp of approval. CG Yoda.
You know what to do, Dean.
But yeah, so that's kind of like our mini review because we will do a special Star Wars podcast because we're both fans.
This right now.
Most of our friends around us are fans. We're just giant groups of nerds who love Star Wars.
We have a good friend who is a
very big guest on
I was gonna say we should bring in a special guest. We have a good friend that's a big Star Wars fan that we should
we have multiple good friends.
That's
that are
true.
Big Star
Let's just have a big let's get a table.
Big Star Wars
have
round table.
Round table discussion.
Fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right. Well, thanks for sitting through
for
another
watching.
episode with us. We hope we opened your mind to some of the lies from the left. Hope we entertained you a little bit, gave you a few laughs, and we hope you like our Star Wars picks because those are the real picks. Whatever you say is false.
Everything you say is wrong unless you agree with us.
But
did we just join the left?
Oh man, we just did. All right. We're going to have to go repent and do a cleansing.
Yeah.
And then we'll take that back.
We'll take it back. You can like whatever Star Wars you want. We'll be friends. Or if you don't like Star Wars at all. Okay. That's too far.
That's too far.
I take it back.
Too far.
We're not. Oh, man.
If you don't like it, don't comment about it. Just keep it to yourself, please.
That made me a little sick.
Yeah, just to say it out loud.
man.
That there's people that exist like
Yeah, that hurt almost as much as watching the Hillary speech.
And you did it to yourself. That's self-inflicted wounds, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost, yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Next
That's JC.
That's the Beardless.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
So okay, subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube, our channel. Hit that bell icon so you get the notifications and you can know when we upload. You don't have to go looking for us. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll have links to those in the description. And we'll have links to all of our articles if we referenced any. I can't remember if we actually did or not. We'll have the speech
They'll be there.
link down there. There'll be links. You can click on
links,
things. There'll be
just
things you
links.
can click on.
Subscribe.
Just in case you like to click on things, it'll be there.
Subscribe,
Hit the bell icon. I don't know what you're pointing at.
Buttons. You don't see them down there? They're red.
Look right. I believe it's right there. It says subscribe.
And we're probably on the opposite side of the screen right now. Okay.
No.
Oh, well.
I think we're right.
All right.
I think
We
that's
got
right.
it. I think they got it.
What
I
else
think
did?
I understand.
What else is there?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I think we
That's
did
it?
it. We made it.
All right.
They made it too.
Okay, now I'm JC.
I'm the Beardless.
That's the Beardless.
That's JC.
All right. See you next time.
Later.